Hello and welcome everybody. Red Ninja here with a new tutorial on covering modeling a simple dumbbell. I've done the model in advance to give you an idea of what we're going to be creating. Here's the dumbbells. Pretty simple. The main tools that I've used, well, three tools that I've used to create this are chamfer, chamfer, the loop tools, and the, let me see if I remember that name, add loop cut, and also vertex connect. Now to enable the loop tool, since it's an add-on, you go to search, type in loop, and you'll see mesh loop tools. Check this to enable it and save user settings so that it'll be permanently enabled in case you don't have it enabled on your system. All right. So here's what we're going to be modeling. The dumbbell, we're going to be modeling everything on the dumbbell from the handle to these hard edges right here, and we're going to slap in a number. Okay, so now let's get to it. Start a new file. I'm going to delete everything. Oh, and let me enable screencast keys. Move this up, make this bigger, text a bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. All right, everything's fully functional. And I'm going to drag over a new window, and I'm just going to add in I'm just going to go to UV image editor, and I'm going to add an image of a dumbbell that I've downloaded in advance. All right. And also, before you do anything, pin the image so that no changes will happen to the image when you're selecting vertices and such. All right, so now let's get started. So when you look at this, and if you count the edges on the dumbbell, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we need 6 sides now. All right, now with our circle, 32 vertices. That's a little too much. That's perfect circle, and that's not really our shape. So we're going to change that to about 6 vertices. All right, so let me get this gizmo out my way. All right, so now right click, hit Y, 90 degrees. Go into your top view, and you're going to move it over -1. No, okay. So all G -2. That's 2 blender units. All right. So now, before you do anything, press Ctrl A to zero off the location, rotation, and scale so that when we apply our mirror modifier, it'll work perfectly. All right, and we can see it. So enable clipping and click this so that you can see it in edit mode. All right. So now what we want to do, I guess we'll leave the grid. I'll take the grid away if it starts to obstruct my view, but for right now, it's decent. All right, so now we're just going to block out the basic shape of this. So that's what we're going to do now. Oops. We're going to extrude that X to about right here. Press F for face. Right click, Alt right click, face. Now we got that shape. Now what we're gonna do is Control Tab, go into face mode, right click, hold shift, right click to select multiple, press the I key for inset to about 0.19, either 18 or 19. And now right click and select the two faces, newly created faces, and you're going to press S, X, and we're going to move these out to about, let's see, I'll say 1.4. So now we got this part coming right here. So now the next part we want to do, we want to make the handle that's going to connect off of it. So it's going to be, it's a circular handle right here. All right, so what you're going to do, press A to deselect everything, right click the inner face, press the I key again for inset, and set it to about, let's say, 0.4. Right click that middle vertice, delete the face, Control tab into vertice mode, vertex mode, Alt right click to select that whole edge loop, press the E for extrude, X, and bring it into the center. And now we got the basics of the dumbbell. So now the next thing you want to pay attention to is hardening up the edges of the dumbbell. Now you may have to see this a couple times just in case, but here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to use the edge mode and select the following. And you're going to press Ctrl B for bevel. Scroll up with your mouse wheel to add a loop cut. Bring the edges in close, right about there. Now we got the first set. Now we're going to get the last set of edges. So now we're going to go into vertex mode. Now select the following. And I'm holding Alt left mouse to move in 3D. If you're wondering how I'm moving my mouse around like this. I mean, not my mouse, my viewport. And just keep on selecting till you have all of the following selected. Oh, I missed a part. All right, so now I'm gonna go into face mode. Oops, not face mode, edge mode, there we go. Now, we're gonna get rid of the following edges by press the C key. You can hold shift and left click, which will also will also get rid of your unnecessary edges in your selection. Or if you're using a mouse, just hold your middle mouse down to get rid of those. And just going to keep doing that till we got all of the ones we don't need. We don't need this one. All right, so the next step, Control B, bevel, add a loop cut, bring it in closer, bam. All right, so now we got those edges closer. So now we want to start to add some loop cuts to make this handle circular. So let's add a loop cut right here. Control R for loop cut and right click to confirm it. All right, now you're gonna Oops, you're going to add some more to the handle. The same amount. All right. So now what we're going to do is select the following vertices, and you're going to press the J key to connect them. Okay. Now, remember the loop tool that I was telling you about? It comes into play right now. Press W and go to your loop tool and hit circle. Same thing, loop tool, circle. Now it just saved us from having to manually edit that into a circle, which would be a pain to do. Now I want you need to edge slide these edges right here to the almost to the end of it so that it'll retain its shape, and then Ctrl R and add one more loop cut. Alright, so let's see what else we need to do. That list, everything is fine so far. So now the very last thing we would want to do, well, before we do something, probably shouldn't have added that. I'm going to just get rid of this face. Now what I'm going to do, go into my vertex, select that whole loop. I'm going to E and S to extrude it in to about right here. I say right about here. And then I'm going to press E, Z, bring it down. And I'm going to press F to create a face. Alright, so now we got the middle part where we're going to add the number. So before we do anything, we're going to harden these edges so that it'll stay square-like. And we got to get the middle ones too. Alright, Control B. Add a loop cut. Alright. So now this part is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be it's a bit, you know, oops. This part is a little tedious, and I'm definitely sure you may have to watch it a couple times just in case if you miss which vertices I selected. Now we're just going to zero off these axes to get the shape to come off correct as a square. Yep, I'm definitely on this one, on this side, this is going to be the X. So I'm flattening the sides off to help with retaining that square shape, and this should be Y. Yep. On the top view, everything is squared off. Now what I want to do is add one more loop cut, bevel, add one more loop cut, and now we're fine. We're going to delete, actually we're going to inset, no, not inset, we're going to E, cancel, scale it in some. Alright, fine. So now the last thing to do is just add in a number. Let's select this. Select this whole thing. Shift S. Control to select it. Cancel. Get out of that. Tab into edit mode. go into your computer's going a little slow. I don't know why it's slowing down a bit. Text, tab into edit mode. Change that to about 20. Oops. 20. Go into top view and switch that over. So it's rotated. Actually, yep. Just change the origin to geometry. Okay. So before we do anything, we're just gonna change some values, extrude it up a little bit, add some a little bit of resolution, bevel it. All right, so now we're going to convert to a mesh. All right, going to your top view. Now center your origin, rotate. Let's say it's at 90, oops. 90, 90, 90. There we go. Now just scale it down some. Make sure it fits your weight. Scale it down a little bit. Pull it into your weight. And now duplicate that. And we're just going to manually rotate it. Alright, so rotate that -180. So just about the same spot. Alright. And there you have your very first dumbbell, 20-pound dumbbell. You can now add your add your subdivision modifier, crank it up to about 2 or 3, and go to your smooth shading. All right, and there you go. A 20-pound dumbbell. You can change the number if you want. I just using 20 because it's off the image. All right. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and definitely look forward to the next one.